We all know that you should be studying, doing homework, or working on that school project, but we don't. You fall into the trap of TikTok, Instagram Reels, and YouTube videos just like this one, but it doesn't have to be this way. Procrastination plagues us all, and that's why I made this video to show you how to avoid procrastination and achieve laser-like focus to perform at your highest level so you don't bomb your GPA and ruin your chances at your dream school. And if you stick to the end, I'll show you the single trick I use to beat procrastination every single time. Now, a typical day after school, you probably just throw your backpack on the floor and slump on the chair or just throw yourself onto bed. And obviously this is after 6 to 7 hours of grueling schoolwork on top of the extracurricular activities that you're involved in. But then you start to think about all the things that you have to do for that day. The geometry test that you have to study for, the science fair project you and your friends decided to work on, and the physics homework that generally makes no sense. It's like a brick wall that towers over you and you simply just don't have the energy to do anything. But the truth is that the magic you're looking for, the strength and energy to break through that wall that's towering over you, is in the work you're avoiding. You don't find motivation by sitting around on your phone. You find motivation while you're doing the work. Marcus Aurelius says, "The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way." Meaning that the thing that we see so clearly as the barrier is actually the solution. It's the only path forward. Because if the ultimate goal is to get into the dream school that you've always hoped to get into, the only path there is doing the boring mandatory shit that's in front of you. It isn't the extra TikTok video, it isn't the extra video game match that you want to play, and unfortunately it isn't the extra, Netflix show that you've always wanted to binge watch either. Now, I'm not saying you should be working 24/7 because that's not what work efficiency looks like. There needs to be a balance. There are certain times to refuel and there are certain times to make use of that fuel. Without fuel, we won't get anywhere, but we'll just get into that in like a future video. But for this video, we'll just be strictly talking about procrastination. So the magic you're looking for is in the work you're avoiding. What this means, to put it another way, is that the task that you're trying to avoid most is the exact task that you should be doing right now. This is the game of winners. Who's the fastest at starting to do the thing they don't want to do? Take a look at your high school career on a macro scale. The top students at your school got their shit together and made the decision to study hard faster than you, which is why they have such a competitive advantage in the college admissions process. They're probably, quarters, semesters, maybe even years ahead of you, just because they decided to start working hard before you, faster than you. And guess what? The low grades you got in freshman, sophomore, junior year because you didn't decide to lock in fast enough, they're all just set in stone. There's nothing you can do. The students who made this decision before you are way too far ahead for you to do anything about it. And there's nothing that you can do to change your past grades. So take my word, please, and make the decision to do the work and lock in before it's too late. Speed of implementation, that is the name of the game. Because speed is power. That's why an omnipotent being like God is powerful. He says, "Let there be light," and in an instant, there's light. Now, it doesn't matter what religion you believe in, because the point is that the time it takes for you to implement your thoughts into reality is power. Now, for the one trick that you've watched this video for to beat procrastination every time is reflective journaling, but with a twist. Once school and all your extracurricular activities are over, you sit down and know that you have so much shit to do, but you have this overwhelming feeling that, man, I just don't feel like doing this right now. What you need to do isn't to struggle, but to accept this emotion and journal it. Now, you might shit on journals and say it has no use, but once you start using it, you can't stop using it afterwards. Not journaling is kind of like trying to do complex math problems all in your head without using paper to organize and better understand everything. Scratch paper is to figure out math problems. Journals are for figuring out life problems. So journal exactly what you're feeling in that moment, the emotional resistance that's inside you. And then right under it, write the one thing that you're trying to avoid most. I want you to have an experimental mindset. Write down that you're gonna try and do the specific thing that you're trying to avoid most, with a tiny goal in mind, whether it's to read the textbook for 5 minutes or writing a short paragraph of notes. A tiny goal is very short and easy, and since it's so short and easy, you might as well do it. And then take a shot at the thing you're avoiding and try to accomplish that tiny goal. What these tiny goals do is that it puts you in motion. Life is lived in action. You'll find out what you need in motion, not in stasis. During this short amount of time working on that one task that you've oh so hated to work on, you'll find yourself going further and further. Each and every time you finish a study or work session, come back to your journal and reflect on your journey. How did you feel? Were you able to accomplish your tiny goal? Did you go beyond the tiny goal you set for yourself? Reflective journaling gives you the evidence that you can do the work despite feeling the need to procrastinate. And over time, this stack of evidence that you have helps you do it all over again. Whenever you feel like you're dozing off or want to watch one more YouTube video, you'll be reminded that you can do it once more. So take that with you, and if you've reached this point of the video, comment the word N and I'll respond to every single one of you guys. And if this video helped you out in any way, please consider subscribing and help a small channel out. Until next time, peace.